Hello. I want to talk about a post today. But before I get into that post, I want to talk about just something else in general. The reason why I've been getting nicer and happier in videos is several fold. It's mainly because I just want to be happier as a person. So being happier makes people around you happier, so on and so forth. I was always curious if that was true. And so far, it definitely has been. I have been nicer, which more people have been willing to hear me out. And they say, oh, you know what? I never thought about it like that. Good point. And then that makes me pretty happy, and it makes them pretty happy. And then it's a positive exchange, etc., etc. And I don't know, it's been working out pretty well for me lately. But keep that in mind throughout this video. Happiness begets happiness, hate begets hate, and misery begets misery. Because that's going to come into, at the end of the video, that's going to come and be really important. But I want to just first off start by saying this. Be aware there are absolutely people like this that just straight up impersonate me, and they'll just post wrong information at best, or like child porn at worst, in like various YouTuber discords or whatever, or they'll just make some crazy insulting schizo post about, they'll just decide, just mechanic works this way when it doesn't. So people like that are very clearly mentally ill. And those people, I've kind of just made peace with all of this. Because I just wanted to give another example of this, is this right here. This guy has left a bunch of comments like this on other people's channels, and he will go back, even when he's not replied to, he will go back to manually check his non-notified replies just to make sure he can try to make more people hate me. Which, all right, it's all good, man. I think you should definitely find a better outlet for whatever it is that's going on in your life than that. But, it's all good. But finally, we arrive at the post that I've been wanting to talk about. This right here. This is masterfully crafted manipulation. Because this post it bothers me because it's just a straight up lie that only exists with the intention to make people feel hatred. And I find that a little bit interesting. So, first off, it starts off incredibly hostile like this. Like, this is already, if you walked into anywhere in real life and said this about anyone, most people would be like, okay, what's going on with this guy? But then, oh, fuck. But then we come to this. He comes to the conclusion that rending is worthless because he tested it on poxwalkers. That is true. I did that back here. And notice this date, December 25th. And then right here, rending does not work on infested per patch 13 notes when it was reworked. So let me get this straight. You know that it worked here. You are aware of this video's existence and that it worked back here, and that this video was posted before the specific patch that changed it. This is how I know this isn't just someone who's misunderstanding. This isn't just someone who thinks he's correcting misinformation. No, this is someone that is going out of their way to create misinformation to make people hate other people. And that's what I find fascinating. So you know of an old video that I took down because a patch changed it, by the way, so it's no longer accurate. But you know of an old video where I do the thing you say because it worked at that time, and you're also aware that a patch came out later that retroactively made it not true, and that I took that video down, yet you're referencing it as if I made that video after the rework and just don't know what I'm saying, and I just want to misinform people. Also, this gives it away that this guy's just a hater that will say literally anything to try and make you hate me, but we'll get to that in a second. So, this is already just a bold-faced lie. Anyway, who have infested armor type. Rending specifically does not work on infested. Yes, and I mentioned this, and I have a good reason for that, because if you pull up any scoreboard, total lesser combined makes up like 80% of everything that you fight. So the primary thing that you spend your time fighting in this game is the infested armor type. So it's a blessing that flat out doesn't do anything for you, or rather it's a stat, I should say, that doesn't do anything for you. It against 90% of what you fight. Well, that's absolutely something you should consider, right? Maybe he's saying rending is worthless because of this video. Or not this video. Where is it? This video. Because in this video, I tested on Poxwalkers, but he can't be talking about this video because immediately after that, I then go and do it on Ragers and I go do it on Maniacs and Crushers. So he's either deliberately leaving that part out, hoping that you won't, watch the video in question, and you just believe him that I'm a fucking idiot. And then right here, he says Uncanny is worthless because it doesn't give a lot of damage by testing DS with Uncanny on Ragers. Where? If you can show me doing that, I will pay you $100 because I don't ever hit Ragers in this video. I go after Crushers and bosses. So you can't be, and this is the only time I talk about Uncanny Strike, so that's a lie. And when I'm talking in-game in my Veteran Breakdown video, I'm talking about rending strikes, which is objectively useless. Not that the stat rending is useless, but that this particular passive is. So you either are hoping that people just hear rending strikes and just assume I'm talking about rending as a whole because rending is in the name of the skill, and you're just deliberately leaving that part out. Like, this is malicious. Like, I'm sorry to say, but this is absolutely 100% just incredibly... It's just a level of malice I can't understand because I just post videos talking about game mechanics. How can you hate me this much? Anyway, the damage gap is low because Dueling Sword has multiplier versus Maniac Armor and the weapon's obscenely high finesse damage. Okay, well, if we're going to talk specifically Uncanny and we're going to talk Dueling Sword, isn't that important to note? But what are you talking about? Okay. Because look, this is not a damage boost worth talking about. So I'm making use of the finesse bonus right here.
Dueling Sword. Then we do rending strikes. That was a goddamn critical.
And now, look at that. That's a 3% damage increase. What are you talking about? You are just making this up, and you are hoping that no one knows better, and they just believe you, and they start hating me. So that they go on, they see someone spread a video of mine, and then they say, oh yeah, that guy's an idiot. You shouldn't listen to him. And then no one can ever substantiate anything. And a real-world example of this, right here. This is the conclusion that I came to. Outside of Smokes, Twin Blast, and the +1 nade, by the way, that's most of it, you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grenade nodes. So, like, most of them, I'm glad we're in agreement that most of them aren't very good. You know, so with the exception of crack grenades, so his conclusion of this, that I'm an idiot who you shouldn't listen to, is that we both agree on everything except maybe crack grenades. And that's not even guaranteed. That's just a maybe. So I guess if I'm an idiot that doesn't understand things, then so are you, because we came to the same conclusion. But conveniently, he doesn't mention that. He says this after this to make it sound like I think this isn't true. This is like perfect manipulation. And do you want to see a real world example of how this works? Watches a bit of the vid. I couldn't watch any more after he got the smokes, tossed one at his own feet, then complained about blinding himself. Well, Mr. Coolgar, perhaps if you were more of an intellectually honest person and you actually watched things before criticizing and insulting people, you would know that,
and they gotta run from all the way back there to all the way here. God. Second off,
would you like to... Hold on, where is it? Right here.
Very effective distraction.
Mr. Coolgar, what do I say right here?
So, the best way that I and many others have found to use smokes is to throw it halfway between yourself and the gunners, so it...
What did I just say? It's almost like if you watched more than 10 seconds of a 2-hour video, you would actually know what someone has to say, and you would allow them to explain themselves. But because you just saw this Reddit comment and just decided you wanted to jump on the hate bandwagon because you saw hating this person got upvotes, so now I'm going to hate as well, Mr. Top 10% commenter, you just jumped on it. And right here, that are the mental gymnastics of to make shredders better than cracks at killing because reasons. Yeah, good reasons. What do you mean? I don't think you know what mental gymnastics are, my friend. Boom, boom, boom. And give me Uncanny Strike. How is this mental gymnastics? I would genuinely, you can DM me on Discord at any time. I'll make time to hear you out. but can you explain to me how this is mental gymnastics? All I said was you need Uncanny and a Rending Stim. So if you're using Uncanny Strike, you almost certainly have 5 stacks of it. And if you get a Rending Stim, you know, like, that looks pretty fucking good to me, dude. I even ran out of... Look, I even ran out of Rending Stim, and they still almost died. With Rending Stim, you can kill as many Crushers as the grenades hit. You know, you want an even better example of this? Hold on. But, so all this means is, there's like 7 Rending Stims that usually spawn per game. So you just, like... That's all you have to do. Just hold on to one until you see Crushers, and there you go. You just do that, and then you throw, and you're good to go. Like, I don't know, man. This looks pretty good to me, and it looks like it's pretty easy to keep this synergy going. Like, that is not because reasons. That is a pretty well thought out and explained point, I feel like. I have no idea how people are upvoting this unless they literally just take this at face value and they just say, wait a second, you know, Shredders can't be better than Cracks at this. And also, his logic really falls apart when he gets down here. You don't argue relative DPS, which he tries to do because it's not what they're for. Colgar, I'm not going to insult you, even though I really want to because you're insulting me, but I've been trying really hard to be a better person. So I'm gonna say it like this. Colgar, everything is relative DPS. You just don't understand that. So this is DPS. You might not think it is, but pulling out a grenade, pulling the pin, and waiting for it to charge, that is DPS. It's not active damage, but this right here still is damage that you could be doing if you weren't doing this. So let me show you what I mean. If you, instead of just looking at as one big attack, from the moment you pull the grenade out, your damage meter has started running. So, right here, 100 damage, 200 damage, 300 damage, 400 damage, 500 damage, 600 damage, 700, etc., like that. And you can see this because notice how Cracks don't actually do 3600 DPS. They do 1700 DPS, and that's just from the moment of impact to the moment of explosion. If we add throwing in there, Cracks actually do about 1300 DPS. Whereas Shredders do far more, which means they objectively provide bigger damage numbers, which means they provide more value. But right here, Cracks are the you see that Crusher, I don't want to option. Okay, well, Colgar, I'm sorry, but like, are you a noob? No offense, but how is, oh, I see this Crusher, I don't want to see it anymore. How is that valuable? Like, unironically, genuinely, how is that valuable? Especially when you can do something like this. You can stack this up. Let me get my stacks. You know, let me get my stuff off. You can do something like this, where you get your stacks, build up Uncanny, place a single stack on these guys, and kill them that quickly. Like, that's objectively better than using Cracks. You know? It's more damage. So that's my I don't want to see this Crusher anymore option. It's faster than Cracks. It's not a limited resource like Cracks. How am I wrong? Like, can you actually substantiate on this? And the only reason this guy even has this negative opinion of me in the first place is because of this post, which is just a straight up lie. If he just went in as a neutral person, listened to the entire reasoning, and didn't click off the video the moment he heard the 10-second clip that he doesn't agree with, that solidifies in his mind that I'm a stupid doo-doo head, you know, like, then he probably would be willing. So now we just have someone who just doesn't understand what he's talking about because he didn't hear the entire section. And, where is it? Where is it? No, this is not it. Someone actually calls this out. Hold on, where is it? Someone in this thread calls this out. He said, wait, I don't remember him. I remember clearly him showing Rending Strike. Yes, you're right, because that's what I did. Because this guy is lying. This is called a lie, my friend. Good job. You get a gold star. You get a good noodle star, dude. But, yeah. Like right here, I can't tell if he's rage baiting for views or if an ogre or if he's retarded, basically. Okay, well, I don't have monetization turned on. I can't get donations. I can't even get ads placed on my videos. What benefit do I have to rage bait for views? What, so more people can make posts like this and lie about me and there could be just more negativity in the world? That's my motivation for rage baiting for views. There it is. Yep, because that's how human beings operate. They are either purely good, wholesome, neutral people, or they are purely self-interested people who only care about their clicks. This is social media brain rot in full effect. No one is rage baiting for views in Darktide, dude. Like, is it fair to say this is just toxic stupidity at this point? Why? No, dude, you want to see rage baiting for fucking views? Hold on. Palestine deserves it. Like this, you know, like this is rage baiting. You know, like right here, like this is fucking rage baiting, dude. If I wanted to rage bait for views, I would do this shit. This guy just gets on a camera, gives stupid uninformed opinions about a conflict he knows nothing about, and gets millions of fucking views. I could make a video exactly like that tomorrow, probably get 1 million+ views. So no, like, this guy is miserable. He's a miserable human, and all he wants to do is spread that misery around. I checked his post history and like half of everything that he does is either complain about me or like this. Where is it? Like complain about the Fat Shark balancing team, stuff like this. And I don't know the guy, so maybe that's a mischaracterization, and I'm sorry if it is, but his last couple weeks worth of posts are him bouncing between talking about the tabletop, bitching about the dueling sword and how stupid Fat Shark is, and complaining about me. It's like, dude, you have made sure to every part of your day, wake up, go on Reddit, complain about some guy you saw on YouTube, or some Swedish balancing team. Like, dude, your life will be so much better if you just let it go, stop caring, stop lying about people, stop tearing down these straw men that live in your heads. You could literally talk to me at any time. You could add me on Discord at any time and literally just say, why do you think this? And I would explain that that's not what I think at all. But instead, you'd rather just make posts like this because this is far easier and it gives you that momentary dopamine spike of, yeah, I stuck it to this guy that I hate. I don't know. I just think it's sad. But at the same time, I've come to accept it. Stuff like this, I have reached a point where I don't ever see myself even looking at it ever again. Because I have found from my own personal experience this last month or two, that the best way to turn off misery is to just deprive it of companionship and attention. But yeah, I just wanted this more as a PSA that there is a lot of people who go to a lot of places and just straight up lie and impersonate me. So, very, very strange how toxic the Darktide community is, no? I can't think of any other game community that's really small like this that also goes to this level just to hate on some guy. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.